All right, I'm gonna do a tier list of all the teams at Toronto with site. Um, let's start with probably like the favorites of the tournament. I think I think G2 should definitely be here, 100%.
Hmm.
I would say Fnatic probably could go up there as well.
Yep.
I
And there's
think
one
they,
other team as well.
at the very least, grand final contenders.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I think Heretics might have a chance to be favorites or at least grand final contenders as well.
I would say that as well. I do agree. How
What are
do
your
we?
thoughts on Sentinels in this situation though?
Oh, I was about to ask you the same question. I'm not gonna lie.
I would definitely put them in playoff potential, definitely that or higher.
I
I think
think.
they have grand finals contenders.
hmm I think they could honestly like make a grand finals appearance with G2 because they look pretty good. They've improved a lot since Bangkok. Um, let's go. How do you feel about Liquid?
I think they do make it out of Swiss stage.
hmm
I'm not sure how far they'll go after that. I do think they're like I wouldn't say a young team, but I don't think they're ready to really compete at a Masters quite yet.
Yeah, I think they've lost like a lot of like time, like because they qualified to it was Bangkok with a different five than they have now, and Serial is like a very inexperienced player, like compared to Kamek. I think they can make a deep run, and like they've shown glimpses of being really strong as a team and some decent mental resilience. So I think they have a potential run that they can make. I definitely think they will qualify to playoffs. Actually, who else is in the playoff or in the Swiss stage? Sentinels might be. They might not even make it out of groups, but I think they're definitely a playoff potential level team. Um, how do you feel about Paper X?
I think they're in a really tough spot with their matchup. I think them and Team Heretics could be a really great round one matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they might take the L on that one, but I think they'll be able to run through and at least qualify for playoffs. I would
Mm-hmm.
put them at playoff potential. I
Yeah,
don't think putting them higher would be smart, but I also think that you
they
can't
have
really
potential to
bet
make a
against
run.
PRX.
I think
Hmm.
both them and Liquid are in a similar spot. Like you know that they are good, but they're not. It's difficult to word this, but like they can definitely go on a run. Like they have the players, the skill, the talent to do it. And you've seen this team, like its core, like just do great things. So like you can see this team going pretty far, to be honest. I think we should go to MIBR next. I think they're also in a similar spot where they can go on a run, but they shouldn't be expected to. Would you agree with that?
I'd be down to even drop them down to playoff qualification. I
Mm,
think they might even get grouped, but I don't think they'll make a run. But you also can't really count on Osmos to perform poorly in these high pressure situations.
hmm
So you might want to bump them up just for that.
Like I feel like they have a lot. Like this team has one of the most stacked rosters, with the exception of like G2. I would say just individual, like top to bottom, is so stacked. Like Artesian has stepped down a lot in terms of performance, like when they brought back brought in Verno. But like Cortesia has looked insane. Ginam has been stepping up, I would say. Ospas is just regarded as like one of the best players in the game for a reason. And like Verno has been so good on the Teo. And I don't think they've been crushing the Teo. Like I think like they just look like a pretty solid team. But I do feel like that they're clearly the third best team in Americas. Like there's a decent gap between G2 Sentinels and then MIBR. But I also do feel like there's a massive gap between MIBR and then the rest of Americas. I'd say you're probably looking at like Cloud9, Thieves, NRG below them. And I think that they have a chance, but similar to like Liquid and Paper X, like they have the potential, but like I'm not expecting them. Like I'm not counting on a run from MIBR. Like I would love to see this MIBR team do like really well. Just because like I love the way that this team is built, truthfully. Then that leaves us with Gen G. I honestly think they're in like a similar spot as these other three teams. I haven't been keeping up a lot with Pacific, so I'm kind of going on like what I've heard from like the community and stuff like that, and like the like results and stuff. I want to say that Gen G should probably be here. Like I don't know exactly where to put them, but I would say they're probably here, somewhere in the playoff contention run. Like they're really strong
Yeah.
individuals, and then them bringing in um, Ash. I mean, I'm not sure like how much that has impacted them. Just like I have not watched them play a lot, and then like them bringing in Suggest and then like playing Foxy9 back in, I think is definitely better than if they were to keep Suggest. And like Foxy9, from what I can tell, like has been performing really well on Sentinel. So I mean, like you kind of look at this team from last year and like you just see that this is kind of just a straight downgrade from last year, where like a lot of people would make the argument that they're probably just the best team in the game, possibly like Valorant history, if that five continued. Because you have Texture, who's just like an insane duelist, Karen, who's like one of the best controllers, and then Munchkin, who's like one of the best fragging IGOs in my opinion. And then you had Meteor on that team, who was like I would say in contention for being like the best player in Valorant currently, and Lakia, who looked like either the best or worst player in that team, like by far. So I mean, them replacing him with Yeoman seemed to be like a more consistent player, but still seemed like a bit of a downgrade. And I think Lakia also brought a lot of like experience to that like initial Genji team, which I could understand why you would get Yeoman for that. Like IGLing, I believe it was Rare Adam in China for the an Ascension run, placing I want to say second. And then now they're bringing in like academy player Ash, who from like what I've seen didn't seem that comfortable, and I don't think he seemed comfortable on Teo. I could be incorrect in that, but I think like the Teo nerf should be beneficial for this Gen G team. But I mean, I really don't have a lot of information on this Gen G team. But I think that's how I would sum up their like where they're at. I think Wolves and Billy Billy. I think there's a like a massive experience gap between them and like the rest of the teams here. Or maybe not experience for like these two teams as well, but like I don't think they have like the experience or like the talent to be able to compete like for the title. Like I think both of these teams are gonna be like possibly going O2. Like there's a chance China just doesn't get a win. I was like Billy Billy's the most experienced team here at an international. But I mean they're not even the strongest in China. Like you would look at Edward Gaming as like possibly being like up in this area, like the B C tier or the A and B tier, I would say. And like they're just not here. And the only other team that could really compete for China was FPX, and then maybe Trace during champs, but they like had a massive fall off. So I mean, this will be good for the long run of China, I would say. Like just getting more and more players on a LAN, like and experiencing it, and like hopefully we can see China in like a few years, like have like sending like in an entire tournament full of like title contending teams or teams that we can at least like not be surprised by like a massive run like these four teams. Like I don't think they're in the discussion for like winning the event, but like they can really like do damage. And like I think China just needs more time And like with EDG looking like really shaky, a lot of drama and stuff, like it kind of scares me that China might like devolve for like the remainder of the year unless EDG are able to like have a massive bounce back. I mean, you can kind of see like the same thing in like Pacific, where like Pacific like took time to evolve. You really only had DRX who were like contenders and like never really did anything, but like they just like broke more and more like ceilings for Pacific, and like as more and more teams went, they got more experience. Like you kind of look at Paper X like being a contender, then Gen G finally lifting a trophy, stuff like that. Like I think China just needs more time in the VCT. Um, then lastly, RRQ. I think they are somewhere here. I haven't seen them, but like a lot of people have been hyping this team up. So I'm, because I know Jemkin has been playing insanely well on the Yoru. Like I think Mani A is on that team as controller. They just brought in a new IGL, and then they ended up winning Pacific with Crazy Guy. I'm blanking on the last two players, but I think this team honestly could like make a really deep run. So I'm gonna put them up here. But like I haven't watched a lot of this team play. And then Gilai I think is definitely a step ahead from everything I've heard. Like their Yoru player is also insane. Rarga, I believe. Um, I mean they won a section and now they're going to an international event. Like that's kind of impressive. Um, was there anything you'd like to change in this site?
I mean, personally, I'd be down to move Genji down one, but I also don't know a whole lot about them this year. But I do know that they had a big downgrade from last year's performance.
Okay, I'm kind of down to do that as well.
I'm just looking at the teams. We do have a lot of teams on the upper side, but we do have to remember that 4 teams will be eliminated from the Swiss stage.
Yeah, I think it could be like one of MIBR Paper X, and then we could like bring up Gli, but I think
I think MLBR definitely could um get eliminated on Switch.
I think honestly like all three of these teams could get eliminated. Just like could suffer from like lack of experience or like lack of time together, and just like if you get unlucky, then like you're just gonna get eliminated straight up. And if like you get a tough matchup, like a really close matchup, like say like MIBR Gen G, like the loser to that might be honestly like they might not even like get out because of that result, which is like really difficult. Because like if you're a team like Gen G, you could end up like playing say could start with MIBR and then play like maybe Paper X or Heretics, depending on how things go out, and like you're kind of just like done in that situation if you're like not able to like upset one of them or like beat one of them. But yeah, I do kind of agree. I think Gen G like they don't really like they've been making a lot of moves. I do have a lot of faith in their coaching staff. Solo, Perry, HSK, and then like having like a pretty strong core of just like insane players gives me a lot of faith in them. But I think like they just need more time. Like I'm not sure because Gen G is a team you would expect to just be like fighting for being like the best team in the game right now, just off of last year. But they're not really like at the same like skill level, and it's like it's upsetting to see. But I mean, they have a lot of potential if they like are able to get more time or like just I don't know like, more experience with their new players, or if they're able to like find upgrades. Maybe the new meta will suit them. I mean, that's also kind of an interesting thing is like the new meta coming in, like how it affects each of the teams. Like, because you look at G2, like they play Teo on every single map. So like it could affect G2 weirdly, of like them not necessarily being the favorites. But I think like despite the Teo nerf, like Trent is an insane player without Teo, but it like the Teo just elevates him to another level. I think Fnatic is a team that have been really good like recently. Like they've been showing out a lot compared to like the start of the year with the like disappointing start, I would say. And Heretics sort of similar situation with like starting to like get their skill back from last year. And then Sentinels have definitely had like a massive upswing in form from the beginning of the year. Then you have these teams that can make like nasty runs with like decent, like really solid players on every one of these teams, like all 12 teams. I think each team has insane players. Yeah, I think we're gonna end the video here. Like, subscribe, join the Discord, follow me on Twitch. Site you can plug whatever you want.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter as well, Busay_. Greatly appreciated.
All right. With that being said, I'm gonna close the video out here. Thanks for watching. Hope to catch you guys in another one. Peace out.